It's a smooth breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life on a feel good Friday morning. My name is Ayokunmi Kekerieko. Time to get into the world of business on Business Express. And today is a Friday. So it's going to be all about tech. It's a Tech Friday edition of the Smooth of Business Express on Smooth Breakfast. And this morning, we're going to be looking at something really important. And it's off the back of recent developments in the last couple of days. And we're talking about exploring bank website safety in Nigeria. It's a really important discussion to actually be had. I mean, it's off the back of the recent incident that happened with GT Bank. But I get ahead of myself. Joining me this morning to make some sense of it all and just give us some clarity is Bolu Abiodun. He's a senior reporter at Techpoint Africa. Good morning to you, Bolu. Great to have you on Business Express.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Already great to have you. And for all our listeners out there, be part of the conversation. Join in, share your thoughts with us on WhatsApp on 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. You can also join the live stream on YouTube, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Yes, this is Business Press brought to you by InterSwitch. All right, let's get into the conversation, Bolu. Now, looking at the online incident with GT, the bank says it was an isolated incident. Now, can we say that online banking transactions are safe in Nigeria?
Yes, we can. We can say online transactions are safe in Nigeria. Largely, they've
Ah,
been quite they've been quite safe, right? To be fair to financial institutions, right? But it still does not take away the fact that there are really big issues when it comes to security with banking and financial transactions in the country, right?
okay.
I think I was doing a research earlier, no, around middle this year, and when it comes to cases of bank hacks, cases of security breaches, there's been about 2.4 billion between last year and this year,
Wait,
right?
could you
And
could you say could you say that amount again?
82.4 billion naira.
Between last year and this year.
And this year, yeah. And the
Oh
funny
wow.
thing is that number is actually quite small. And that's because these are just reported cases that were reported in the media, right?
Hmm.
And it still does not account for, and I'm talking about individual cases now, where
Okay. Okay.
so and so financial institutions lost this to a particular hack that happened on this particular day, right? Banks still also have their own records where after every financial year, they will tell you, okay, we lost 6 billion naira to fraud, we lost 10 billion naira to fraud, right? That's still not calculated with it, right? There's NIBS also recently released a report in 2023 that said about 17 billion was lost in 2023 to fraud, which is does not really accurately tell us exactly what the situation is like, because they also said that those are cases that were reported, and they said
Hmm.
about only 20% of these cases are usually reported. 20%, right? Imagine if,
That is a low number.
yes, and imagine if all these things happen and everyone reported. These numbers will be very high, right? So yes, your banking transactions, you can send money, receive money, all those things. They're, pretty secure, right? But at the same time, there are a lot of things that go on in the background that we do not see, which 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 have made a lot of these institutions very vulnerable, and they've been
Okay.
losing money a lot.
Hmm. All right. Thank you for getting us into the conversation with that.
Mm.
But off the back of that, looking at this particular incident still concerning GT Bank, the app wasn't impacted. I mean, it was working all throughout the time that incident happened. Now, should more customers actually use bank apps than the bank website? And for me personally, like it's more convenient actually using the app. So, what do you think?
I'd actually say the apps are safer, right? Because I was speaking to a
Oh,
developer yesterday, and he said because no one was really sure what was going on. Like, we had different reports in the media saying different things, but what that person said was that if right, and emphasis on if it was a case of someone trying to take over the domain, what it means is that they could mirror that domain, right, and then create a website that just looks like the GT Bank website, and then people will unknowingly enter very important data, right, into that website,
Mm, mm,
right,
mm,
and
mm.
once you do that, they get your information, right. He also said that they could also send very they could send attacks to that user's browser, which means that the damage will extend from just your GT Bank details to other details, other websites you might have visited and imputed passwords, usernames.
Any other websites, as long as it's
Yeah,
on that browser, that's attackable.
yes, on that same browser, right?
Interesting.
So apps are actually a lot safer, right, than using the bank apps. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Now, many people are saying that the jackpot situation is impacting bank tech teams in Nigeria. Would you agree with this assertion?
Yes, yes, I would. And I'm going to say that very carefully because it's not something we have stats on. It's not something we've done studies on. And I'm saying yes, based on what I've heard and what I've seen. I
Okay.
know a lot of, developers that, have left the country, used to work in a bank or a particular financial institution, and now they've gone, right? And they
Mm,
are living in droves, right? So this means that the kind of talent, right, that enterprises like GT Bank need, because they are very big banks, right? They
mm.
cannot use a low level technical person. They cannot
Has to be
use
the
it.
best of
They
the
can't even
best.
use, yeah, it has to be the best, right? So I picture a future where, which is sad, but these banks might actually have to start sourcing for their talents in other countries. I have information that some actually hire people from Pakistan, India, right? That even head some of their technical and engineering teams. Yeah. So off the back of that, I'll say yes. The Japa syndrome could really be affecting them adversely.
Hmm. It's so funny. We have so much talent here who are leaving, and then we need to resort to bringing talent from the outside. It is
Yeah,
such an
it's sad.
ironic sort of situation. But anyways, moving forward, what do you think can be done to make online banking transactions a lot safer from the customer's point of view? How careful should bank customers actually be?
Yes. So the issue of safety, right, especially when it comes to your own account, um, everything you can't leave everything in the hands of the bank, right? You also have to be careful yourself as an individual. So be on the lookout for phishing websites, which is probably one of the easiest way to get into your account. Be very, very mindful of phishing websites. Don't just click on any link.
Hmm.
Um, when you get emails from your bank, look at it very well. Does it look like the emails you usually get? Copy the domain the email domain, right? Copy it, search for it, see who the website registrar is. So do those things on your own end as a
Okay.
customer. But I think banks also need to, for customers, do a lot of awareness, right? Constantly and consistently sending them, things they need to know, things they can do to protect themselves. And technical wise, on their own end, they also need to beef up their security. I was speaking to someone at NIBS recently, and they told me a lot of things that happen in some of these financial institutions, and sometimes the
Hmm.
security could be lacking in some cases. But there are a lot of backups that they usually need to have. Oh, if something is compromised, we usually need to have something else to fall back to, and even a third one, a plan B, a plan C. right? And
Okay.
in many cases, some of these institutions don't have those things. Especially, I won't say the big ones. The big ones, I think, are they're aware of how large they are and how one simple mistake, right, could could wreck them. So, but for a lot of financial institutions, some of these things are still not in place. So we need very, very good cybersecurity guys, technical guys, manning those banks and making sure that everything is working optimally in those banks.
All right, all right. Thank you for that. Now, you talked about research earlier, and I want to take us in that direction. Now, Reuters got a data request from Twitter or X for
Mm.
those who are more, modern with that name. This unnamed person wanted inflation, exchange rate, money supply, and NPR from 2014 to 2023. Now, the irony about this is it's a research assignment. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this issue here?
So Rotus could actually reply the person and ask how much the person was willing to pay because the person just basically wants Rotus to do the assignment for them. So if he had time on his hands, he could have, asked for payment. But the thing is, it's probably just a singular um, case of someone that does not know where to find the information they need. Right. I
I've
want to
actually
believe.
I've actually had instances to talk to people that have this similar, should I say, mindset or this similar issue in quotes about not, should I say, wanting to or being able to actually do online research. I think it's an issue.
Hmm. It could be actually. I mean, but then considering the level of internet penetration in Nigeria is around, it's almost at 50%, if not more. Right. I probably think it's a little over 50%. Right. So, and considering that the person uses Twitter, right, which means
Mm,
the person is no stranger to the internet. Right.
right.
I am at loss and I don't understand why they can't do a simple Google search that will give them this information, right? It's probably just a case of laziness or some kind of unbelievable
Probably,
ignorance. Yeah,
probably,
so
probably.
it's
But
really weird.
really, really quickly, because time is
Mm.
really, really, has really, really flown by here. What do
Okay.
you think can actually be done to improve online research skills in our students? Because I mean, this is 2024.
Yeah.
We need to, we're talking about, the next generation,
Mm.
AI and so on and so forth. These are skills that are more or less mandatory in
Yeah.
virtually everyone right now. What can we do to help students to actually improve their research skills in schools in about 30 seconds or less, if you can?
Okay. All right. I would say for me, I mean, I graduated in 2020 and my school did not have to really do anything for me to use the internet to do my research.
Mm,
Um, it was just easier for me to do than going to a library and flipping through books. But one thing I would say the schools and the governments can do is equip the libraries with state-of-the-art computers and let people become accustomed to using the internet for
mm.
research. Let lecturers also um, promote these things, mention it in class, help people who probably do not know how it's possible. We can't just assume. Help people who do not know how, and basically make sure that this infrastructure is there, Wi-Fi and good computers. I think, yeah, that could help.
All right. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Let me run up with a message here from Tyler. Tyler says criminals have become bold because law enforcement are docile and banks are focused on collecting ATM maintenance fees. I'm sure if not for the publicity, GTCO wouldn't have made that statement because of the perception and industry confidence. People have abandoned their ability to critically think when everything is available on the internet. Thank you so much for your message, Tayo, and your thoughts. Thank you so much, Bolu, Abiodun, for joining me this morning. It's been a pleasure having you on
No,
Business Express.
awesome, awesome. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Have a great Friday and a great weekend ahead. And thank you all for being a part of Business Express, brought to you by InterSwitch. Stick around because the smooth breakfast will continue. More great music. And of course, Freshly Pressed comes up at 7:30.
Brought to you by InterSwitch.
All right. Thank you so much.